Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, and I gotta say, news has been pretty scarce lately regarding The Sims 4. And, well, some interesting tweets have come up that are really making the community speculate. So without further ado, let's get right into it. SimGuru George started off by saying, "It's Friday. You can only play in one world until Monday morning. What world do you choose, and what lot do you start on?" That's an interesting question. I probably would play in Brindleton Bay or Sulani, but SimGuru Frost responded saying, "I choose Redacted." And then SimGuru George replies saying, "You know that Redacted only works if you are playing with Redacted Sims and the new Redacted." Such a cruel tease, but there it is. So instead of just answering with any of the worlds that are out right now, SimGuru Frost chose to say a world that, well, we don't have yet, so it's Redacted. And it seems like that SimGuru George is hinting that this world can only be explored through certain conditions. So what does this mean? What could this world be that it only works if you are playing with a certain kind of sim and some kind of new thing to go along with it? I couldn't help but think of some kind of a cult. The first one I actually thought of was fairies, because I know an idea came up in a discussion in one of my previous videos about, oh, what if fairies maybe had a tiny world to go to? I think that was something that someone suggested, and I put that in a video where it's like, yeah, there could be just a world that only fairies can access because they can just shrink to a really small size, and the world itself is not small as in literally, unless maybe it could be in terms of like a number of lots that there are, but also just like the scale of the world where everything just looks really small. So I was just thinking, oh, okay, so maybe it's that if you can only access this world through an occult sim, and the new Redacted thing would be either a magic spell or some kind of device. Ideally, I would like werewolves to be the next occult, but I'm not sure what sort of device that they would need to use to access a world only for them, but I could imagine if they did have a world only for themselves, it would revolve around a feature where our werewolves can live in packs together. Another possibility is that maybe we'll get some sort of time travel pack, but I don't really imagine that being restricted to a certain type of sim, really, unless they did something really wacky where you needed to have a certain kind of suit or a certain type of superpower in order to time travel. Maybe it's going to be some sort of crossover with The Flash, where you can become the Still Force and travel through time that way. No, probably not. Don't really need another real-world collab now. They've already done 2 of those with packs. But I think maybe another possibility is that the type of Redacted sim is an age group, not a species or an occult. The type of Redacted sims could also be referring to an age group, not necessarily a type of species or an occult. There was an idea on one of the official surveys from last year where we could actually follow our sims to high school, but then it would be like, oh, a whole world for a high school? That doesn't really seem to make that much sense, so I don't know if that's really correct either. So I can't help but just go back to the idea of an occult possibly coming in the near future. Even though I wouldn't really like an occult right now. I mean, we got paranormal stuff, which was a supernatural theme pack in January, so I'd really prefer something realistic to come next. But maybe this Redacted stuff is actually the pack after the next one. I think it very likely is about something that we're getting this year. But I think if this is going to be about an occult, I highly doubt that this is going to be the next expansion pack. It is very likely a game pack, and those chances of us getting a spring game pack are dwindling quite quickly. Normally by now we would already have it, but nope, nothing has come up about that, so we might be waiting until late summer / early fall again to get our 1 game pack a year instead of 2. That time also would be leading up to Halloween, so it would make sense to do an occult game pack around that time, just like what they did with Realm of Magic. At this point, I think fairies are pretty likely to be one of the next occults that we'll get. I think a decent amount of people want them, but also because they'd probably be the easiest one to do right now. We already have spellcasters, so as terrible as it sounds, I think if we got a fairies game pack, it would just be a sort of like spin-off of Realm of Magic, where a lot of the gameplay would be very similar, and the fairies themselves would just be spellcasters with wings and maybe some sort of different skin and face details. But other than that, not super different. But then one of the different things would be just how the world works. I know one thing some people didn't really like about Realm of Magic is that it's very easy to get to the Magic Realm. You just find that portal in Glimmerbrook near the waterfall and that's it. Any sim can just easily pass through it. As long as you can see the portal, then it's fine. So maybe this fairy world would be more restricted than what the Magic Realm was. Another SimGuru tweet has come up while editing this. It doesn't really add too much, but SimGuru Soph does say, honestly same, especially because of the redacted. So I am thinking it probably is something that's visually pretty, and well, it still has me thinking it's probably about fairies, but yep, that's just another tweet to add fuel to the fire. I just really hope whatever it is, it'll be announced soon, or just something. I'm not expecting a pack this soon, since we typically at this point do have to wait until June for the next expansion pack to come out. But I'm still hoping we at least get an update soon with those 2 new hairstyles and possibly other stuff that's been leaked that I've talked about several times at this point in previous videos. However, it still does seem like they are prioritizing content that's more niche rather than content that would please a more broad range of simmers, and that worries me because this world, it sounds like it is going to be one that we can only access under special conditions rather than a world that you can just live in full-time as any sim that you want. Putting out niche content once in a while is not a bad thing, but I feel like that's pretty much all they've been focusing on for the past year or so. And that wraps up another Sims Info and Thoughts video, so feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on what you think this redacted stuff is all about. And be sure to subscribe if you want to keep up with my latest gaming content, including life simulations and more. So I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!